Hi, I'm Rachel from Rachel's Guest Tutor at Pretty Witty Cakes, and in today's little freebie tutorial I'm going to show you how to make some really easy sugar leaves. So I've got some little examples here on my green board. You can do leaves that are attached to wires, and these are really fantastic if you want to wire together a whole little bunch of leaves in order to make a spray. These little teeny tiny little leaves look really great if you're doing maybe some little cupcakes or some little fine detail with a rose. I've made a little curled rose here. If you just put little roses in little groups of 2 or 3 leaves, it forms a really cute pattern all over a cake or the top of a cupcake. This little leaf here, this is just a solo leaf. So for example, if you were doing an arrangement on the top of a cake, maybe you've got some flowers going on there, this is a really nice way of just poking in some extra leaves in and around a little display at the top. And there's all sorts of fantastic things on the market that help us create a leaf really easily. You get these little plunger cutters. That's what I've used to do my holly leaf. You can also get cutters that are in the shape of a leaf. And you can also cut your own. So don't think that you have to buy a cutter to make your leaf, and I'll show you how to do that. So I've mixed up a little bit of green floral paste here. And if I roll it out, try not to make your leaves too chunky. You want them to have a nice thickness so they don't get too hard a cut edge. So I've rolled that out to about 1 millimetre in thickness, and then I'm going to move it over to the dry area of my board. So to start with, we'll just cut out a simple shape, okay? So that's our simple leaf shape, and he looks a little bit boring all on his own. He hasn't got any pattern, hasn't got any texture. So you might want to invest in one of these silicone presses. This has got a really nice leaf veining, a veiner. I actually use this for all sorts of leaves. It doesn't have to make the leaf that's this particular shape. You see here now I'm going to use this shape cutter, but I'm going to vein it with this. So I would just lie that down in the center, and just by pressing it gently and taking that away, peel my little leaf off, we've instantly got something a little bit more exciting, okay? Now our leaf is going to look a bit boring if he's completely flat, so I always like to just give it a little pinch at one end. So I'm just gently squeezing that together, and it's starting to form a nice shape. And then I would find a foam mat or a bit of scrunched up tin foil, and I would just lay my leaf across the top like that, so it just gets a bit of movement to it. So that's a simple singular leaf. If you weren't happy with that leaf shape, grab yourself some scissors. Now this is really simple. Just cut yourself a leaf shape. Maybe you want a bigger, wider, fatter leaf. Let's just cut around there. Oops. So you don't want to spend the money on yet another cutter. I've actually used this technique when I've wanted some really big leaves. And just cut yourself, it's actually a bit similar to the one that I've already done. Just cut out the shape. So you don't need to buy a cutter. It looks a little bit raggedy here, but by the time you've lifted up your veiner and you've lain in your cut leaf, and I've actually got a bigger veiner than this, and press down. And you don't always have to have veins on your leaves either. You see now, you would never know that I'd just cut that with a pair of scissors. So you could do bigger ones, smaller ones. And again, I would lay that leaf down. If you wanted to do a wired spray of leaves, if I bring my piece of paste over again, just give it a little roll. Okay, if you wanted to wire up your leaf, perhaps we'll use this cutter. So these are great. They've already got the veiners inside. Come down. Cut out your leaf. You've then got the option to pop out your leaf without any veins on it and just use that quite simply on its own. Or if you cut it out and then press down and pop your leaf out, you'll get that veining across the front. So this is a little holly leaf. So our next kind of leaf, I want to show you, if you get yourself a nice thin piece of wire, and just put the teeny tiny bit of glue around the end. If you then lay that piece of wire along that vein and pinch your leaf together, So I'm just gently pinching that bit of floral paste around the end of the wire so that the leaf then holds onto the wire, and then lay that on your foil or your foam tray and leave it to dry. You then end up with a little wired leaf. So if you wanted a bunch of holly, you could then get 5 or 6 of these and just wire them all together. So that's how to put your leaf on a wire. And this technique would work equally well with this leaf that we've just pinched together. Okay, you would just lay the wire along the center at the bottom with a little bit of edible glue and pinch it together. So we've got an unwired leaf, and then we've got our tiny, teeny little leaves that we've made down there to go with our little rolled rose. And they're probably about the simplest leaf that you could possibly make. And what I'm doing is taking a little tiny ball of my green paste, gently roll it in your hand. Look, I've got terrible green fingers. And then when you've got your little ball, take the end of your finger and just roll a bit harder down on one side so you end up with a little cone shape. And then when you've got that little cone shape, pop it down on your board and then take one of these modelling tools. I've got a thicker end here and a thinner end, so if I was doing a bigger leaf I could use the thick end. And make sure it's not sticky, and then just gently press it down and make a little indent. And that makes your teeny tiny little leaves to go alongside your pretty little rolled rose. So there's some really simple techniques for making some lovely leaves to decorate your cakes.